Okay. Today, grade 4, I'm going to talk to you about our final assignment. So, this is going to be your final assignment for the novel study Owls in the Family. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a book jacket. So, what's a book jacket? Well, it's something that a book wears when it's cold out, right? It's a jacket, it covers it. So, this is a jacket. It covers the actual book. It shows what the book's all about. So you're going to be creating one for Owls in the Family. So let's talk about the parts that you notice in a book jacket. So what are some things that you notice that makes the book jacket effective? So take a look at this book that I had at my house. What do you notice that is included in the cover? Well, the first thing probably that jumps out at you is the series name, Harry Potter, right? It's huge. That's because people are looking for Harry Potter books. Not as huge is the book in the series. So I know that I like the Harry Potter series. You might not. That's totally fine. But if you like the Harry Potter series, you would be looking for a specific book if you haven't read it. And so this is the last one, The Deathly Hallows. So that's written underneath. I know that the author is J.K. Rowling, and so that is prominently shown on the book cover. So that means it's also very easy to see. What else do you notice about this book cover? There's a picture, isn't there? Yeah. So the picture is a nice gold medallion. That tells me something. I notice if you know the book, then probably the design has something to do with it. The gold writing kind of matches. It's really dark background because this is the last in the series. So there's a lot of kind of scary, sad things happening in this book. So that might be a part of the reason why they chose to do it in these colors. So the cover, the purpose, the intent of it is to give you the information you need to know. Who wrote it, which book is it, and tell you or entice you to like want to read it. Ooh, this looks interesting. It's going to give you a bit of a hint about what's inside. Another thing, your books don't always get displayed like this. Sometimes they are on a shelf. So you're going to have a spine of the book, and that needs to be really clear about what the book is. So, there's my Harry Potter books. Which book is it? The title is written just underneath, as well as the author's name and a picture. Now, this picture happens to be the same picture as on the front, but I have other books that are not the same. So there's a picture of Mike Myers, but it's a different picture on the spine, and that's totally okay. It still has the author's name and the title of the book, just like on the front. And on this one, it also tells you who is the publisher, so who sends out these books, who prints them. So that's another piece of information that's on the spine of the book. On the back is a picture of the author. Now, obviously, he wasn't 8 years old when he wrote this book, but that's a picture that he decided to submit on the back. And then it tells a little bit about the author. It says, I'm an actor, a writer, a producer, a director, a husband, and a father, but no description of me is complete without saying that I am Canadian. So that tells a bit about the author and what the book, like why he chose to write this book. So that's also important in your book cover. So that's on the back. That's the spine. That's the front cover. Now, is that all? No. There is also going to be a flap, a front flap and a back flap. So on this flap, it tells a little bit more about Mike Myers. So it's like a biography. So if you think about those letters that we wrote to our friends in Hillmont, that told about us, how old we were, where we live, about our family, about the things that we like to do. That's what is happening here with Mike Myers on the inside flap. It's telling about the author. It might tell other books that he had read, or written, I should say, other books that he's written. It might tell why he's qualified to write this book. what experiences he brings to it. So all of these things that are on the book jacket are the reason why they're there is to sell the book, make people interested to read it or sell the book. So that's one book cover. There are other book covers. So for instance, this one just has a picture on the back. That's not what I want you to do. I would like you to include a picture, but I also want you to have some information in it. So in this front flap for the Harry Potter book, it gives me a price. It also tells me a little bit of a summary. So because this is the 7th book in the series, it summarizes all the previous books in 2 paragraphs. So 7 books in 2 paragraphs. That's pretty impressive. So it's not enough for me to really get hooked. But the other thing I can do then is I can include a section from the book that is my favorite without ruining the ending. That's really key. Please don't ruin the ending. What you might do is tell part of a book that really leads up to the suspense, or your favorite part that's really exciting, but leave it just where you want to someone to want to continue reading, so you hook them. Just like in a movie trailer, sometimes they put some of the good bits in it, but just enough so that you're like, oh, I gotta see that movie. So think about that when you are writing in the flaps, okay? The other thing I want you to include is, my iPad is sitting on it, but I want you to include a recommendation. So sometimes in books, you will have people who say, oh, this was a great book, very qualified people. So for instance, if they work for a newspaper or an online review, maybe it's some of your friends. What are some of your friends saying about this book? So you would put that in quotation marks, and then you would say who it was. So at the start of the year, we wrote book recommendations. We said 5 stars or how many stars out of 5. That's exactly what I want you to do for the back cover of this book, is give at least 3 quotes or recommendations. You could find some online or you could create your own. So often those are things like talking about what the author did that was really great, talking about what you liked about it, maybe something about the topic, maybe how they portrayed their message, like thrilling right from start to finish, or you could talk about Farley Mowat's comedy, use of comedy, did you think some parts were funny? So put that in, as well as talking about Farley Mowat and what he brought to this book. So basically, I want to see that you understood the book, that you chose pictures that tell me about the book, that you can summarize the book in a couple paragraphs. You're telling me the main ideas without ruining the end, no spoilers. And I want you to really demonstrate that whether you liked it or not by giving those reviews. So do your best with that. Again, this is not a project that should take you one day. I expect you to put a little bit of time in, just like we would in class, over a week or so. So pick away at it, do a rough draft. So practice first. You can do it online if you'd like to do it on paper online. If you want to cut out pieces of magazines to put onto your onto your book jacket, that's fine. You could take a picture of your Lego people posing in a certain way that would be like a scene from the book. Wonderful. Take a picture of that, print it out, or digitally put it onto a book jacket that you can submit to me. Do any of those things that you're comfortable with. You will have a piece of paper that looks like this. I believe it was in your binder. If not, I'll send those out to you. And in the last page of your booklet that you got Thursday, which is tomorrow for me, what's that going to be, the 14th? So May 14th. Yes, it is May 14th tomorrow. So in that book jacket, or in the very back of that booklet, is going to be an example of what it could look like. But I would like you to use color. That is obviously a photocopy, and it's I couldn't do it in color. So think about that as you're creating your project. Ask any questions as you go, please. This is the major assignment for this term, so do your best and have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed the book.